Well, welcome back, class. Today we will be discussing the new forces in Southern politics, the election of 1876, and the Compromise of 1877. Let's get started. After the Civil War, the South had to rebuild, and that meant setting up new state governments. But these governments looked very different from the ones before the war. Many of the old Southern leaders had lost their power, and three new groups stepped in to take their place. Let's talk about these groups and who they were and why they were so controversial. First were the scallywags. A lot of white Southerners believed that any Southerner who supported the Republican Party was a traitor. They used the word scallywag as an insult. Originally, the word meant a small, scruffy horse, but now it was aimed at Southern Republicans. Many scalawags were poor farmers who never owned slaves and saw the Republican Party as a way to gain more political and economic power. Others were businessmen who wanted to rebuild the South's economy. Even though they had different reasons for supporting Reconstruction, they were hated by many former Confederates. The next group were the carpetbaggers. They played a big role in Southern politics. These were Northerners who moved south after the war. Many Southerners claimed that these people were just looking to get rich off the South's struggles. The name came from the idea that they packed up everything they owned in cheap suitcases made of carpet fabric and rushed down to take advantage of the situation. But the reality was more complicated. Some carpetbaggers were truly trying to help rebuild the South. They were teachers, ministers, and former Union soldiers who wanted to assist newly freed African Americans. Others were business people looking for new opportunities. While some were corrupt, many genuinely wanted to make a difference. The third group was the Ku Klux Klan. Now, with this group, they have a little bit of about, not a little bit, they have a lot of a violent history. Not everyone was happy about the changes happening in the South. Some white Southerners wanted to take back control and stop African Americans and their white allies from gaining power. The most infamous group that formed during this time was the Ku Klux Klan. The Klan was founded in 1865 in Pulaski, Tennessee, by a group of former Confederate soldiers. It started as a social club but quickly turned into a violent organization aiming to restore white supremacy. The name Ku Klux Klan came from the Greek word kuklos, meaning circle, and clan, a variation of the word clan spelled Clan. The founders likely chose the name to create a sense of mystery and unity. One of the Klan's most well-known early leaders was Nathan Bedford Forrest, a former Confederate general. He became the Klan's first Grand Wizard and played a significant role in expanding the group's influence. Under his leadership, the Klan organized terror campaigns to intimidate African Americans and their supporters. Although Forrest later claimed to have disbanded the Klan in 1869, the group continued its violent activities. Dressed in white robes and hoods to hide their identities, Klan members rode through the night to terrorize African Americans, scallywags, and carpetbaggers. They used threats, violence, and even murder to keep black people from voting and holding office. The Klan burned crosses, attacked schools that taught black students, and worked to restore white supremacy in the South. Even though the government tried to shut them down, they remained a dangerous force. The Reconstruction era officially came to an end with the presidential election of 1876. This was one of the most controversial elections in American history. Here's what happened. The Republicans nominated Rutherford B. Hayes, the governor of Ohio. Hayes was a former Union general who supported Reconstruction and wanted to reform the government by eliminating corruption. He was not a well-known politician, but the Republican Party believed he was an honest leader who could unite the country. Democrats nominated Samuel Tilden, the governor of New York. Tilden was known for fighting corruption, especially for helping to take down the infamous Tweed Ring in New York City. He campaigned on the idea of ending Reconstruction and restoring white Democratic control in the South. Well, this is where the controversy comes in. Tilden won the popular vote and seemed to be a clear winner, but there was a problem. 20 electoral votes from 4 states, which were Florida, Louisiana, South Carolina, and Oregon, were being disputed. Without those votes, no one could officially win the presidency. Both parties argued over who should get the disputed votes. A special commission was created to decide, and in the end, all 20 votes went to Hayes, making him the winner. But Democrats were furious and threatened to challenge the decision. To avoid another conflict, leaders from both parties made a secret deal known as the Compromise of 1877. The Democrats agreed to accept Hayes as president, but in return, Republicans had to pull all remaining federal troops out of the South. This was a huge deal because those troops were the only thing protecting African Americans and ensuring their rights. Once the troops were gone, white Southerners quickly took back control. Many of the rights that African Americans had gained during Reconstruction were stripped away. New laws, known as Jim Crow laws, were passed to enforce segregation and limit black voting rights through poll taxes, literacy tests, and other restrictions. This led to nearly a century of racial segregation and discrimination in the South. So while Reconstruction was supposed to rebuild the South and give African Americans new opportunities, the Compromise of 1877 showed that political deals could undo years of progress. The end of Reconstruction meant that life for African Americans in the South became much harder, and it would take another movement, the Civil Rights Movement, nearly 100 years later to bring real change. Well, join us tomorrow for the final installment of Reconstruction, Rebuilding of the Nation, where we will be talking about the restricted rights for African Americans, the 3 important acts that helped shape the West, and the Reconstruction Amendments. Until then, remember, the past shaped today, but you shape tomorrow. Make it count. Bye-bye.